Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? I was bored, so I decided to go live. Oops. Um, Summer is at an end for me. I started sophomore year of college. Um, so that's been a lot of fun. Said no one ever. Um, First day of college is always the worst because they take an entire class period to go over a syllabus, which for the most part is the same in every class you take. So for 4 classes straight today, I went through a syllabus that I'd already known what was on it to begin with. I just, I mean, the syllabuses are, helpful and whatnot, but sometimes it's like let's just get started. It's like let's get started with the content. This is boring. This is stuff we've already known for however many years we've been, in education. So it's just, I don't know. It's a necessary evil, I suppose. Well, I guess my last class was not as heavy on the whole syllabus thing as the others, but um, it's like let's just get started. I don't know how many people are going to show up. I imagine not very many. What have I been reading? Well, my expanding universe reading has been kind of lacking, we'll be honest. Not because I'm just lazy, don't want to read anything, it's because I've been reading other things. I was reading Darth Plagueis. I was enjoying that. Still am enjoying it. I need to get back to reading it, but about two or 3 months ago. I don't know if it was that long, but very recently, Titus introduced me to the X-Men cartoon. I'd never seen it before. I never really knew anything about the X-Men prior to that, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was great. And after watching that and just really enjoying it, I got introduced to the comic books, and I've been reading the Claremont run. Um, I'm like on issue 106. Um, so I'm still at the very beginning, but that's like in the middle of the Phoenix Saga, um, which it does not feel like a Phoenix Saga because Phoenix has not really been a big character in it. Um, it's been focusing more so on other villains, like 3 or 4 issues focused on Black Skull Cassidy and Juggernaut, another issue focused on Magneto, another issue focused on, you know, Eric the Red, um, one issue focused on a couple issues focused on Fire Lord, one issue focused on Havoc and Polaris. Um, it's really just not a one issue focused on, I think his name is Stephen Lang. He's an anti-mutant scientist. It's been focusing on a lot of characters other than the Phoenix, which I get the Phoenix is not necessarily the villain, not yet at least. But I don't know. It's been kind of getting slow. I know it's gonna start picking up once we get to Dark Phoenix and Days of Future Past and the Brood Saga and a lot of those classic Claremont epics that are of course so well known to this day. But um, and I've also been reading some of the new X-Men stuff that they've been coming out with. There's Adjectiveless X-Men, there's Uncanny X-Men, there's Exceptional X-Men, a bunch of different other ongoings and limited series. They've been relaunching the X-Men, line of books. So those have been a lot of fun to read. Um, so I've pretty much been going to my comic shop every Wednesday just to pick up the next X-Men title, whatever it is. Um, But I've been really enjoying it, man. I've been loving X-Men stuff and loving the ride. Of course, I've also been watching the Fox X-Men films, but those are not very good. For most of them are not very good. There's X2 was good. Um, what else? What else did I? Logan was good. Scott Johnson is good.
What's
Was it?
up?
What you been up to, man?
Just got back from Monday Night Raw. Actually, was in town.
Oh, that's interesting. I keep up with wrestling. Like I know what's going on, but I don't actually watch the shows because I have no way to watch it. I just, you know,
Yeah, I don't watch it either, and I didn't realize it was 3 hours long. Holy cow!
yeah, it's WWE's been doing really good right now. I've been really liking what they've been doing with it.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even know Randy Orton was on Raw. Like, I guess he switched over from SmackDown. I didn't
They
realize.
they did a draft like a couple months ago, I think. That's
Okay.
why he changed.
Yeah. Everybody else
Um,
was pretty similar, but
it's a freaking miracle Randy's still wrestling, but I don't know why he's still wrestling, but he is.
he's in good shape. He's in good shape. I guess
He
he's
is,
gonna.
yeah.
I guess he's gonna face Gunther for the title.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
next
like Randy
pay per
because,
view.
they haven't really been doing a lot with him. He's just, in terms of story, but you can tell he doesn't really care. He's just glad to still be there. He seems really humble about it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, how could he not be? He's a 12-time champion. He's won pretty much every title, for the most part.
they still use him
Um,
in matches too. There's a couple guys. I mean, CM Punk, like he hardly ever appears in matches. Um, that they're
well,
just out there
he
for to be the face of the
Punk had
brand.
gotten injured. Punk got injured, I think, at the Royal Rumble
Oh,
earlier
he did.
this year.
Mm.
So that's why, like, I think he was because that's kind of like, do you remember like the whole controversy with like The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania? Do you remember all that?
Yeah, yeah.
That started because Punk got um injured because he was, from what I've read, he was supposed to face Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then Cody Rhodes is going to face Roman Reigns. But when Punk got injured, obviously can't do that, so they were like changing their plans, and I don't know.
He was a
But
he was a
that's what I
guest
heard.
referee for one of them. I forget. Was it Clash at the Castle or something with McIntyre and
That
forget who
sounds
else?
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, WWE's been real hot right now, man.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun. It was just it was too long. I think 3 hours is way too much. Plus, they had like
Yeah.
two dark matches right before, so
Oh,
doors opened
really?
at like
Yeah, I don't really like dark matches. I don't really see
six
the point of
thirty.
them.
It was Lyra, Valkyria, and who's the other one? The Miami chick or the
I don't
um
know, man. I don't really know a lot of the like the mid card wrestlers or the undercard wrestlers. I don't really know them too much.
I know him
Um,
when I see him. It was the other match was the guy that directs the orchestra. You know the
oh, okay.
forget you know he does the thing on the side of the ropes. You
Right,
know
right, yeah.
yeah
Yeah, I
uh,
understand. What I think is cool is the whole the Wyatt Six. I think that's what they're called.
yeah
Um,
Uncle
do
Howdy
you know
and
what I'm talking about?
yeah yeah
It's a really cool homage, I think, to Bray Wyatt. I think it's really cool. And I'm glad they're actually doing something, substantial with Bo Dallas because I remember for years they didn't do anything with him. Like he was always like kind of like a joke wrestler,
I
but now
just
they've
don't
actually made him into something.
yeah, I think they announced Uncle Howdy's facing off against somebody next week, but usually they just appear, you know, out of the smoke and out of the darkness, and that's it.
Right.
Like they don't really have a match or anything. I don't really understand the story point. It's just a lot of flash and
I think I think they're just building them up now to
hmm,
to eventually start having them with in more matches. I'd like to see them go against the Judgment Day. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's just it's just a really and Roman Reigns, now being a baby face, but he's actually like a popular baby face.
Hmm.
That's been really cool to see. Because for years, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but like Vince McMahon was trying to make him into something that the fans didn't see him as, and it was like a
with
big,
the Shield. I haven't watched, like, I didn't watch wrestling for the longest. I watched like in the mid '90s. I stopped watching about '98, and then I started watching again about 2 years ago. So I kind of I'm up to date a little bit. I don't know everybody, but I know the main card people.
right. Well, after the Shield broke up, Vince McMahon tried to make Roman Reigns like the new face of the company,
Mm,
but it just wasn't received well by critics, and mainly because that dude was like main eventing like multiple WrestleManias in a row.
right.
He's main evented like, good lord. 2015 he made event to 2016 he made event to 2017. It was a lot, and people like they didn't like that about him. He was winning the world championship over and over again. So, but then they made him to a heel with the bloodline,
Right.
and now he's back as a face after the whole Solo Sokoa thing. And I don't know. I just think Triple H just did a really good job with him.
Yeah, Solo seems kind of a joke. When I started watching, Reigns was the champion, and I guess he was the champion for like 3 years until Cody won it.
Right.
But they got the whole new bloodline with Solo. I think he's kind of a joke. He can't really handle himself. He's okay, but uh, he's not a talent enough to be like in a leadership position. I don't think.
Yeah, I
He
can
seems
understand that for sure.
he seems to be like the enforcer guy. I think that's a better spot for him.
Right. Yeah, I see that. And the Tonga twins or whatever they're called, Tonga
Yeah,
brothers, they're I don't know. They're just
tried
really
to
useless to
they
me.
tried to build them up, but they always fall flat. Like they don't seem scary, except that other guy that got hurt that had the boot last
J Jacob Fatu?
Batu.
Is it
Yeah, yeah.
that's someone I've always wanted to see in WWE because he was always on the independent circuit for years. And
Mm.
he was heavily rumored for like months that he was coming to WWE, and they finally brought him back, but or brought him to, and he got injured. I don't know. I don't know
He
where he's at in the family tree. I think he's Umanga's son.
mm,
Let me see here.
I don't know. I'm sure it's real complicated.
Oh, his dad was Sam Fatu. Um, who's he? Okay, so he's a brother of Rikishi. So he's Rikishi's brother. So that would make the Usos his cousins, and then Rikishi and Umanga are his uncles.
Gotcha. Mm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like the new Solo Sikoa or something. It'd be cool if they had like a story where he betrays Solo and he tries to take over. I think that'd be cool. Because see Jacob, I mean, he already has uh like a following, I guess, and he's kind of already established himself as a wrestler.
Mm.
Solo Sikoa, not really. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they need The Rock back to get some some credibility.
Uh, I don't know if he'll come back, man. He's still signed to WWE as a wrestler, but
Mm.
I don't know.
But yeah, I guess they balanced it out a little bit, moving Orton to Raw. I guess that makes sense. So
All
you
right.
can't have all the big names on SmackDown. I don't know. I
I
thought
thought The Rock was going to come back for like a big run, like he did in
I
2013,
I thought
2012.
so too. I thought they'd give him like a title shot or something to be
Yeah.
legitimate. You know.
Well, they were. That was originally the plan was Rock versus Roman, but I'm so
Right.
glad that fell through. I'm so glad.
Mm.
But I think Triple H is like he's kind of like admitted it. Like they were testing the waters with that, see how fans would like it. Clearly they didn't. It wouldn't fly. Like I think like the video of Cody like giving saying, "Hey, you can face Reigns now, Rock." That video that became like the most disliked WWE video on their whole channel within like a few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
But
was deserved.
it's all fake anyway. They can make up any story they want.
That
Like,
is that
just
is
go with
kind
the
of like
flow.
the beautiful part of it of
Right.
wrestling.
Right.
They can change things if they have to, but
Yeah. So how you been doing, man?
well, I've been doing all right. You know, school just started, been working, not really reading much EU to be honest with you.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
was
Mm.
earlier I was talking about I've been heavily been reading X-Men comics. So I don't know if you ever read any X-Men books, but no, been really enjoying them. I'm not really a well, okay, I'm a Marvel fan now. I'm a Marvel fan, but X-Men was like the first, Marvel, story that I like really fell in love with.
Hmm.
So I've been reading a lot of those old books from the 70s and 80s and enjoying them. Um, Spending
Gotcha.
way too much money on them, but that's all
I
I'm gonna
watched
say.
I watched the '90s cartoon, and I heard something about Marvel '97. I don't know what it is. I'm sure
It's
everybody knows it except me.
um,
I don't keep up with like pop culture
it's
stuff. So,
X-Men 97. It was a revival of the show.
so is it
It
live action or is it cartoon?
it's animated. It's the
Okay.
same animation style. It's just modernized, so it's a lot more clean. It's a lot more, it's much more of a modern thing. A
Hmm.
lot of the old voice actors came back for it. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. Um, it was a huge success for Marvel. It was probably one of their most popular shows they've ever put on Disney Plus. I mean, it was extremely popular. Um, and it's called X-Men 97 because the show ended in 1997 and it's kind of the sequel to it. So there's going to be a season 2, but there was a controversy with the showrunner. His name is Bo DeMayo. He got busted for you know, grooming and all that other crap that so many celebrities are doing now, but so
It's a
but the show was a
recurring
huge
theme
success.
with it's a recurring theme with the people that make entertainment nowadays.
Yeah,
It's just
it's awful.
it's sick.
Um,
Yeah,
but
that's
he
why I stay away
despite
from
that, he put a
streaming.
good show together. So I have not seen it, but the premise of it is it's in the trailer, so I don't really consider it's not really a spoiler, but um Charles Xavier died is the premise of it. He's dead.
Mm,
And Magneto takes over because that was Charles Xavier's will. So Magneto takes over the X-Men and you have to kind of deal with that. That's the basic premise of the show.
hmm. Interesting. It's
But
been
it
so long
was like
since I saw that.
hugely popular.
Hmm.
I haven't seen it though because I've not finished the original cartoon. In fact, I started season 3 today, but that's actually what got me into X-Men. Um, Now I'm reading the comics. So
Yeah, I don't subscribe to streaming, so I don't. I'm never gonna watch it anyway.
fair enough. I kind of hate that I'm subscribed to Disney Plus, but at the same time, it's like I don't like pirating of any kind. I just don't like it.
So, so
Because
it
yeah,
is there enough
go
that
ahead.
interests you on there, like on that platform?
Yeah,
That
especially since I've gotten into Marvel now, I have more of a reason to have it. Because obviously I don't give a damn about the Star Wars stuff they're putting out, but um,
mm,
now that I'm getting more into Marvel, and when I say Marvel, I'm not talking about the MCU. I don't like the MCU, but a lot of the animated stuff that's on there, I enjoy. Um, a lot of Marvel's animated stuff is like really underrated.
mm,
They're because people say that DC has better animated stuff, which is actually kind of true, but people act like Marvel doesn't have any good animated stuff, and it's not true. There's plenty of good Marvel animated stuff. Um, like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes is good. X-Men is good. X-Men Evolution is good. Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four. World's Greatest Heroes. Um, what else do they have on there? The '90s Spider-Man show is good. Um, so and there's some other smaller things that are good too, but the Iron Man '90s cartoon I heard was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
So
not a fan of any of that. Doesn't interest me.
yeah, I get it. Cape shit's not for everybody.
It's like I don't even have time to read. Definitely not time to watch TV. But I think
I'm
you get more out of reading anyway.
yeah, I would agree with that for sure. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, just reading X-Men stuff. Have you seen any of the X-Men movies?
No,
No, you're not missing
at
anything.
least
They're pretty
not
bad.
in the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. I don't okay. Some of them are good. X2 is good, First Class, Logan was good, but most of them are just bad.
I think I saw
I don't
the
like.
was it Wolverine? What was the 2009 one? I don't really
Um,
remember it, but
is it X-Men Origins Wolverine?
might have been.
Or well,
I don't
there's X-Men
remember
Origins
anything about it.
Wolverine, and then there's the Wolverine. When did that movie come out? That was 2013. Okay, so you're thinking of X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Hmm. Yeah, I was back in the movies, 2009, 2010, but I don't remember anything about it.
Understandable. It really wasn't very good,
Hmm.
but it was weird. It was just weird. And I kind of like it's interesting. I'm able to like sympathize a lot with comic book fans, especially since yeah, as an EU fan, um, and there's actually something ironic about that. I'll tell you why in a sec. But as an EU fan, I really sympathize with comic fans and how their story is being treated in the MCU. Like it's almost like parallel how we feel as EU fans and comic book fans. But I said it's ironic because most comic book fans, Marvel comic book fans, or just DC, just people who like comic books, they hate the EU. It's
Right.
really weird. It's
Well,
really weird. I don't know why.
the difference is the EU was primarily, I mean, we had some TV shows, but it was primarily book and comic, right? And
Right.
games, like ancillary things. So it was the continuing story, and they did it off screen, and that's how we knew that it would be continued. We were told they weren't going to make more movies, but
Right.
um, they changed it up on us, and now it's primarily movies and TV. So it's a totally different thing. And even if they restarted the EU, it wouldn't be the same. Not because they're woke or telling different kind of stories. It's just now the continuing saga of Star Wars is on screen. People expect it to be on screen. So
Right.
the era of the books, the comics, the games, that kind of stuff is just gone. So for me, that's what I was a fan of, um, and that's never going to come back. It's just there's no money in it, right? So
Right.
uh, even if they did make like an EU TV show, and I I touched on this on the article I wrote for the expandeduniverse.com. It's like even if we did get it back, it would probably be in the form of a TV show like Star Wars Visions, something like that, right? Um,
Right.
or these one-off things like Marvel 108, the video game, the Star Wars, the Old Republic, right? Things
Right.
like that. It wouldn't be, oh, this is how we're continuing Star Wars now. So, and
Yeah.
I think
And
like if you're a fan of comic books and the comic book story of say Marvel or whatever, did you even watch the cartoons or the animated 90s cartoons? I'm not sure if that's in continuity or anything like that, but like um you're probably just a fan of the comics, not the on-screen story, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, none of the shows are in continuity with the comics. They're all adaptations. But
Mhm.
what I meant was like how EU fans, like how we're always disgruntled when we see our characters being put to screen, but they're like completely different.
Well, I mean,
Comic book fans have
some people say that, but I I I don't really care. For the shortest time where I watched the TV shows, it was just to know what was going on, right? I didn't follow the the canon storyline or anything like that. It's like it's the same reason I read the first couple canon books. Like I read A New Dawn to be knowledgeable about it so I could speak intelligently about it.
right,
But now there's been shows, it's like so many shows that there's no point in keeping up with it, right? Um,
right.
and it's so far gone. Then
Well, for me,
we're never going to make an argument to say scrap all those movies, scrap all those TV shows, go back to writing the books, right? Nobody's going to do that.
right. Well, for me, I always find it just annoying when they do that. When they like Thrawn, that's always the biggest example. I can't stand him in the new canon, but my point with saying that is I sympathize with comic book fans because a lot of them they can't stand the MCU because of the way they've misadapted. Is that a word? Misadapted many of these characters.
Sure.
So I sympathize with that, even though they don't. Even though a lot of them hate EU fans, or not EU fans, but the EU. I don't know why, but um, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, the continuity was the thing that really got my interest and why I kept following it, because you have connections, right? You continuing
Right,
storyline, reoccurring characters, reoccurring planets. It all fits,
right.
right? And I
Well,
think
the
that's true with a lot of things.
the Marvel universe is somewhat like that. Um, like what I mean is even stories like Captain America comics from the 40s to modern comics now, they're all in the same universe. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't any contradictions. There's a plethora of contradictions in the comics. Because continuity in a comic in the comic world, it's not as big a deal as it is in the EU, which
Mhm.
is understandable. These are comic book characters. They're not like they're a lot of them are like archetypes more than characters.
Sure.
Not in all cases, but in some cases. So, but all every for the most part, most Marvel comics take place in the same universe, which is different from DC because DC has rebooted and rebooted and rebooted time and again. And that's why I don't want to read DC comics, is because I love DC, but I can't stand all the reboots that they've had. It
Why do
like
you
for
think that
example,
is? Do you think they run out of ideas, or do you think
because
that
Marvel's doing better and they're trying to overtake Marvel, but they're not doing a good job.
okay?
I don't think they
Because
are. Maybe I could be wrong on that, but
there could be benefit in making homages, well, more than homages, but making everything in continuity. It's more work,
right,
but there's payoff to the viewer, right?
right. And
So
there's plenty of examples. Like, for example, in the X-Men comics I'm reading, there's been a character from Incredible Hulk that shows up. There's been um like a villain who once served Galactus, so that's from Fantastic Four. And it's interesting because Archie Goodwin, he edited the X-Men comics. He was the editor for it. And there's so many times when he'll put on the margins, he'll say, "Yeah, this character was first from Incredible Hulk number 181 or whatever."
mhm,
You know, it I think that's kind of cool, and it's cool that Archie. Obviously we know him from Marvel, the Marvel Star Wars run, so that's kind of cool. So and that's another reason why I do like Marvel a little bit more than DC's because all their comics are in continuity. Even comics like from the 60s are still considered canon to this day. So, which is not, I can't say the same thing for DC because when they did New 52 back in what, 2011 was it? I don't remember. Something like that. They decanonized all the previous comics. And now they're doing another reboot called Rebirth is what they're calling it, and they've recanonized all those comics again. It's just crazy with what DC's been doing. It's
Mhm.
that's why I don't like DC and getting into it.
Yes, they changed their mind,
It's
but
uh it's confusing.
it's tough to keep up. I mean, if you gotta keep making movies, I guess if you don't make any movies, there's no cash flow. There's no return on your
Apparently.
holding the product, right? So they got to keep turning them out, whether they're quality or not. They just
Right.
put that stuff out there, and I think it's the same for Star Wars. It's getting to be the same. It looks like, but
Yeah, Star Wars is now just I don't know, just another part of the industry, just another
that's
factory. You got the Marvel
that's
factory, you got the DC factory, now you got the Star Wars factory.
what it is. It's industry. It's like you go to the grocery store, you see all these brands of cereal. There's a whole aisle of different breakfast cereals. Why that is, I don't
Right.
know. It's like nobody nobody spends time considering which breakfast cereal I'm going to get. I just get what's on sale, right?
Right.
There doesn't need to be that much competition for the same product, right?
Right. It's
But
just it's sad what Star Wars is now, but it is what it
yeah.
is. I got the EU, so that's all that matters.
So what do you think of Legends Con 2?
Got my ticket, but I'll be
Really?
going.
You're
Yep.
you're ahead of me then.
Oh, I,
Uh,
I I bought that like a week or so after they first went out. I was well because I knew that um there was going to be like the way money works in my home was changing. I don't want to get into details, but so I went ahead and bought my ticket before I didn't really have much money. So I have my ticket, just counting the days now.
mm.
Um, so I can't wait to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go. I saw they announced the hotel blocks, and I think
Yep.
Arthur Lowry booked his hotel. So,
Well, I kind of have a luxury when it comes to that. I live
oh yeah,
20 minutes
you live there, right?
away from the venue,
Even
so I don't
better.
have to worry about that.
So it's a cheaper outing for you. You don't have to pay for travel.
Yeah, thankfully. It's got to pay for gas, and that's it.
Yeah, it's
So,
expensive, man. When I travel somewhere, it seems like the rental car is the biggest expense. Like airline tickets are fairly cheap. Hotel tickets, if you look around, you can find
right.
some cheap, but it's the rental car that's like 300 $400 depending upon how long you stay. I'm going to Nashville next month, and it's like I'm just going for 4 or 5 days, but
Nice.
it's crazy. Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's almost September. So that means we have what? September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That's what? One, two, three, four, 7 months
Yep.
ish. So, ooh, it's getting closer, man. It's getting closer.
Yep.
Cannot wait.
Kyle text me. He says more guests. He's working on more guests. He says there's something in the works that will really shock you. He says make sure you're sitting down for the next announcement because you're going to be blown
So
away.
wait, who's saying this? Joe?
Kyle,
Oh,
who's
Kyle.
running it. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I can't wait. I've the person I really want to see go is Drew Karpyshyn, and I have a feeling he'll go, or not a feeling. It would be I could see him going because he lives in Austin, so
Hmm.
it's like a 4-hour drive.
It's 4
from
hours
Austin
from
to
Austin to
Arlington.
Dallas. Wow, that's a long,
Yep.
long way.
So, but I mean, that's just a drive.
Hmm.
So I think about 4 hours, maybe
It's,
5.
it's 3
Um,
hours from Miami to Orlando. But
really? Did
yeah,
not know
if you
that.
I don't know how far. I think it's a long drive to Pensacola. I've never done it, but I think it might be like 10 or 11.
Interesting.
And
Interesting. I can't wait to see what else Kyle, because they've Kevin J. Anderson's my favorite author. So not only is the event 20 minutes from where I live, my favorite author's going to be there.
mm,
So Marcel, shortly after they announced everything, he's like, "Yeah, we basically just made this con for you." I'm like, "Thanks, man." He's joking, but
well,
I can't wait, man. I think it's gonna be great.
they got Kevin J. Anderson, Troy Denning, Shannon
Further.
McRandall. I mean, what more can you ask for? I heard
James Lucino, you
I
could ask
that's
for
what
him.
I was gonna say. James was I think he's done with interviews, so I think that
I'm
means he's
yeah,
done with conventions as well.
I
Um,
imagine. He's in his
Most likely.
70s now.
Well,
He's up there, man.
a lot of the creators are in their 70s now.
That is true.
Paul and Hollis Davids, I think they're in their 80s, but they're still around.
Oh
Like
man,
I'd love to see them. Jedi Prince authors. Um,
that'd be
like
cool if they
Bill
can.
Smith of West End Games. He's probably pretty old. Um,
Right.
but I mean that
Imagine if they had a Mary Jo Duffy.
yeah,
Imagine.
I think Joe had mentioned her um that he was gonna like have lunch or have dinner with her to discuss because she was supposed to have Dark Horse pick up her storyline because she had at least ideas for Marvel Comics after 107.
Mhm.
And Dark Horse got the license at that point, but I guess there was talk that they could have picked up that storyline, but they wanted to do Dark Empire instead, and they never picked up her stories. She at least had ideas, and I think that's what Joe wants to uncover and get any plans, outlines, anything like that he can salvage from her records because
Yeah.
a lot of these authors, once they're gone, all the records are gone. Uh,
Right.
Everything gets thrown away. So it's unfortunate. But you got to get it while you have the opportunity, and I think Joe's doing that.
Awesome. Yeah, I in complete faith in those two. I think they're gonna create a wonderful convention. Um, so
Yeah.
what are your
Well,
thoughts on the Legends Expo drama? Do you want to get into that?
I can't talk about it. I'm gonna get in trouble, so I'm gonna stay away from that one. Plus, it's very late, and I'm fading. My energy is fading. So it's
Yeah,
12.
you need a lot of energy to talk about that
It's
drama.
yeah, it's 12:30 where I am. So I think I'm
Oh,
gonna sign off for now.
all right.
But it was good talking to you, Lance.
Good talking to you as well, Scott. I'm actually gonna end the stream. I gotta go use the restroom. So,
All right,
um, have a
take
good night,
care.
man.
Take care, buddy. See you.